Hey guys, it's Will here. Welcome back to another battle report. Tonight is going to be my 5th game in the Iron Hammer League. Of the 4 I've played so far, I've won 1 and lost 3, so really just looking for consolation victories now, but certainly going to have some fun doing it. Once again, I've got my Eldar, and tonight I'm going up against Ben and his Custodes. Hi Ben. And Frank the tape measure. I don't know why the tape measure is called Frank, but it's called Frank. So yeah, it's going to be 2,000 points Eternal War, and we've already rolled off the mission. Tonight it's going to be cut off the head. So single objective in the centre, and characters carrying around intel points that score objectives. Well, score points, and then can also be used to score the objective. So let's dive in and take a look at my 2,000 point Eldar army. Got just a battalion and a spearhead detachment tonight. So leading the army and leading the spearhead is my warlord, my Farseer on a jet bike with a singing spear. He's got fortune and doom as his powers, Spirit Stone of Anathlan for his relic. Then the rest of that detachment is 2 units of Dark Reapers. One of the Exarchs has a Tempest launcher, and the other one has a Reaper launcher. And then I've got a Falcon with Bright Lance and Crystal Targeting Matrix. Then for my battalion, I've got a Spirit Seer and a Warlock. Spirit Seer is going to have Conceal Reveal, and the Warlock's going to have Jinx Protect. And for troops, 3 units of Dire Avengers. So I wanted a few more bodies on the table tonight to grab objectives as troops, although it turns out in this mission troops doesn't actually matter. So I've got 1 unit of 5, 1 unit of 6, and 1 unit of 10. And then backing them up are 3 transports, 3 Wave Serpents. 2 of them are my standard loadout of Shuriken cannons on the turret and unslung, and 1 of them has Bright Lances on the turret and an additional Crystal Targeting Matrix, because with a Bright Lance you kind of need the Targeting Matrix. Then I've got a unit of Fire Dragons, normally to bust open tanks, but tonight I think they'll be hunting jet bikes and custodians. And then my own jet bikes, 8 Shining Spears with an Exarch with a Star Lance, and 6 Wind Riders with Shuriken cannons. So there we go, 2,000 points of the Eldar Eldar. And going up against me tonight will be Ben's Custodes. So this is a very small army. Really, when you look at it, it doesn't look like it's 2,000 points. But knowing how hard this hits, there's certainly a lot to be afraid of here. He's got 3 HQ characters here. So he's got Trojan Valoris, who's the special character shield captain on foot. Then he's got a shield captain on a Dawn Eagle jet bike. He's got a relic that's going to give him like a super souped up jet bike, so it boosts his invuln save and gives him reroll charges. He's also got Victory of the Blood Games for some rerolls. And then the Vexilla Praetor Vexilla, with the standard of -1 to hit nearby, and a Warlord trait that allows him to potentially remove psychic power or dispel psychic powers. Keeping him with the theory of stopping my psychic powers, he's also got a Calexis Assassin. Then he's got 3 units of Custodes, so 3 units of 3. Looks like they've all got Guardian Spears except the unit leaders who's got the Sword and Shield. 2 units of Dawn Eagle jet bikes, 1 of 5 and 1 of 3. And then 1 of the special Custodes Contemptor Dreadnoughts. So not entirely sure what this guy does, but he looks pretty nasty. So yeah, a very small compact army, but certainly going to be very fast moving. And with that Calexis Assassin, my Psychers need to be very, very afraid. Alright, so we've rolled the deployment where we're over in corners, and I was able to set up first and will probably be going first. So I've clustered down here, tried to stay back a little bit, so this would have been the front of my deployment zone here, but I've given myself a little bit of a buffer just in case I get seized on, so he might not get into charge range first turn. Clustered the majority of my troops in their tanks, and those that couldn't are either in cover or behind cover, so got my Shining Spears in this cover so they get boosted save. Got what they call Dark Reapers and Dire Avengers in there, Dark Reapers, Dire Avengers and Warlock in there, and the large Dire Avenger unit in there. jet bikes behind here, out of line of sight, ready to move forward as needed. One objective in the centre, but you have to be a character holding intelligence to claim it. And so all three of my characters have one intel point, as do all three of his, apart from the assassin. So he's got 1 point on each of the Custodes characters. The assassin doesn't have intel because he's an assassin, he's just about killing stuff. So yeah, at the moment I'm going first, unless Ben wants to seize the initiative, which I think he does. Whoa! He rolled a 5, knocked one of my jet bikes over in the process, but initiative not seized. Eldar, turn 1. So this turn I wanted to kill as many of the Custodes as possible and keep the rest tied up and pushed back from threatening my more dangerous shooting units. So this big blocking line of sight piece of terrain in the middle here was going to be a problem. I tried to use my speed to move around it. So the guys down here just angled on the larger group of Dawn Eagle jet bikes. This Wave Serpent moved out to here. Shining Spears pushed up the centre to really close, and then this group of models came around the side here to get a different line of sight over there. Psychic phase went pretty well. I managed to get Doom off on the large jet bike unit, and also do Jinx and Protect and Fortune on the Shining Spears. My Warlock was just out of range to Jinx the jet bikes, which might have the Dawn Eagle Custodes jet bikes. Which might have been better in hindsight, but that Jinx Protect, the Protect part on my jet bikes, Shining Spears, did come into it later on. Shooting phase, I managed to kill 4 out of the 5 jet bikes with the combined firepower of this Wave Serpent, both Dark Reaper units, and the Shining Spears. And over here I killed just 1 Custodian with the fire from these units, and that was mostly the Falcon that did that. And yeah, I don't know if you're picking that up, but it's very loud in here again tonight, but hey, it's all good, it's all good. In the assault phase, threw my jet bikes into the survivor of that squad and the captain, which in theory should have been enough to, if not kill them both, at least kill the jet bike and hurt the captain. Did actually roll enough to kill the jet bike, but he used a command point to re-roll the last wound, so he's alright. And then my guys attacking his shield captain completely woofed their attacks. I got 1 hit out of 8 attacks, which did do a wound, but he's got a 3-up invuln, so not ideal. I was kind of hoping for a really telling first strike there, but at least, you know, that big unit is reduced, and hopefully that should help to hold these guys back, give the rest of my army a chance to do some shooting. No objectives could be scored this turn, so here we go with Custodes, turn 1. Hard, harsh counterattack from the Custodes here. Didn't realise these jet bikes have melter missiles, which, yeah, should have paid more attention to my opponent's list. That really cost me. But basically, he moved these 2 Custodian Guard squads around here to surround the Shining Spears. These guys moved up a little bit slower because they're on foot, but the jet bikes shot right through to the centre of the board. Dreadnought moved up, and Valorous and the Colexus Assassin moved right onto the objective. So if I don't shift Valorous this turn, he will be scoring that objective. And he doesn't look like he's the sort of character that's going to go anywhere very quickly, so that could be problematic. But yeah, the shooting phase. Combined firepower from the jet bikes and the Dreadnought wrecked the Falcon. It's strange because neither of them look like they've got a lot of DACA, but those are melter missiles on there, and the Dreadnought's got Dreadnought packs a punch too, so that made a bit of a mess over here. Then in the assault phase, got the jet bikes into the fire dragons, the Dreadnought into the jet bikes, who still need to take a morale test actually. No, they're fine. And both of these Custodes squads into the Shining Spears. Oh, in the shooting phase as well, the Colexus Assassin was able to assassinate my Warlock, which is unfortunate. Didn't realise he could ignore the screen if there was a Psyker there, but hey, you live and learn, and his rules were about to change anyway, so he'll probably just get even better next week when White Dwarf comes out. Yeah, assault phase. He went with the Dreadnought first, which killed 3 jet bikes. They haven't actually hit back even. I completely forgot about that fight there because I just didn't expect to do anything. So I will roll those. 3 jet bikes, 2 hits, no wounds. Kind of didn't expect anything from them. But then I combat interrupted with the Shining Spears. Oh, and they still need a battle shock as well. That is 3. What have they lost this round? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, they're fine, thanks to their high leadership. But yeah, interrupted with them, which was able to kill off the last jet bike. Didn't do much else because I was needing 6s to wound, but Doom helped me kill off that last jet bike from the squad. So even though I didn't score first strike last turn, I still get it because it's still the first battle round. So yeah, that's handy. Other than that, he cut them down with the rest of the fighting over there. Actually, Jinx, Protect even, and Fortune really saved my bacon. By every right, they should be dead, but I really had some good dice rolls there, and the buffs mean that I've still got 2 left, and they even managed to pass the battle shock. Over here, the Fire Dragons weren't so lucky. They were cut down in short order by the jet bikes. But at least my Spirit Steer is still alive, ready to step out of combat and try and do some psychic stuff next turn. So yeah, pretty good turn for him. He is very likely to score that if I can't shift Valoris this turn, and he clearly got first strike off both the Falcon and the Fire Dragons as well. So 1-1 as we go into the second turn. Alright, so a pretty good turn 2. Started to clear out some of his tougher units. So pulled back this Reaper unit here to just create separation, and this unit moved off to the side so that they could still be within 3 inches of my Farseer, who moved so he was just outside of 18 inch from the assassin and behind the trees to avoid another assassination attempt. These guys disembarked from their transport, which then moved up, and this transport moved nice and close to the assassin because Serpent Shields aren't affected by the Colexus's hit modifiers, and got those jet bikes over there so that if he wants to hurt them, he's got to move away from the rest of my army. Then what happened? Psychic phase. I put Fortune on the Dark Reapers and doomed the unit of jet bikes, the Dawn Eagle jet bikes there. Also cast 2 copies of Smite on them, one of which was stopped with the CP, but one did some wounds to them. And then combined effort of this Dark Avenger unit and a couple of the Wave Serpents finished off the jet bikes. So that is no Dawn Eagle jet bikes apart from the character left on the board now. So that's good. That's a big chunk of the army taken out. These Dark Reapers fired at Valoris, who was now the closest target to them, but did nothing actually. His save protected them really well. And then I fired a lot at the assassin, but needing 6s to hit him didn't really do much. I think I did about 1 wound from actual shooting, and then a further 2 wounds from the Serpent Shields overcharged here for a CP. And then these Dark Reapers fired at the Dreadnought and did 6 damage to it, so he's only down to just 2 wounds now from the fire he's taken over the course of the game, which hopefully means he is degraded, so won't be as much of a threat, but he's still there. These guys did shoot their lances at Valoris, and he's taken a wound. The assassin's down to 2 wounds left. I didn't assault them, but because I've got so close to make sure they were the closest target, they both heroic interventioned into me, which allowed them to basically wipe out this front Dire Avenger unit. But it's okay because there's still a long way for them to chew through, and now if he wants Valoris to do some real damage, he's going to have to move off that objective. Unfortunately, he does score a point because Valoris is holding that, so that is 2-1 to the Custodes as we go into their second turn. So although it looks like the Custodes are outnumbered here, they are really closing the noose, particularly on the objective. So this Dreadnought that only has 3 wounds left, not 2, we miscalculated that, came down towards my characters who are key for this mission. And this big blob of Custodes, not that you ever get a truly big blob of Custodes, but it's big in terms of power, came down here. The Praetor Vexilla guy came over the top of the hill, and Valoris pushed up towards my Dark Reapers. The shooting of the Dreadnought and the Vexilla, and Valoris almost wiped out the Reapers, leaving just the Exarch there. And these guys did some pot shots at the Wave Serpent, but didn't do a lot, but did kill a whole load of my Dire Avengers with his shooting. The Assassin killed the last one of them in combat. Assault phase, Dreadnought charged both the Spirit Seer and the Farseer, and thanks to some rerolls, a little bit of luck, and him being a bit beaten up already, I'm down to only 1 wound on my Spirit Seer and 2 on my Farseer. This guy should actually be dead by now. I used a CP reroll to save him, and the Farseer, I'm glad I took the jet bike one for the extra toughness and extra wounds tonight. And the assault over here, these guys beat down hard on the Wave Serpent, but some poor wound rolls meant that it is left alive, but only on 1 wound. The Vexilla completely fluffed his attacks against the Shining Spears and took 2 wounds in return for his trouble. And we realised right at the end of the assault phase, Ben had forgotten to charge up there. But to be honest, these guys are kind of been played out of the game by the jet bikes there, so it probably won't make that much difference in the long run. The jet bikes aren't a threat, they're just a distraction. Oh, and Valoris charged the last of the Dark Reapers and wiped them out. So yeah, he's scoring well. He got a point at the start of that turn and is in position to score more points next turn, particularly because more of his characters are left alive and mine are in dire straits, which could cost me the mission no matter how much damage I do. But there's still all to play for. We really do need to start racking up some points now as we go into Eldar turn 3. So the plan this turn was to protect my characters and clear out his characters, really start playing the mission here. So I stepped up these Dire Avengers to get nice and close to his Warlord, Valoris. Brought my Spirit Seer back, but still within smiting range. Brought the Wave Serpents that hadn't fired their Serpent Shields nice and close to potential targets. And Farseer, who's only packing 2 wounds left, ran away down here to be next to the Dark Reapers to buff them with Natural Leader. These jet bikes moved out of combat, ready to do some shooting, and I pushed this Wave Serpent up right next to the Assassin, and this one just stepped out of combat here. I say this one, as you can see it's not there anymore, but there was one there. Farseer put Fortune on himself, Natural Leadered them, doomed the Custodian jet bike captain, and then smited the Dreadnought for 2 wounds. No, it wasn't the Dreadnought, so Valoris for 2 wounds. Over here, the Spirit Seer also smited the Dreadnought, did a couple of wounds there, and then it was his shooting, I think, no, the shooting of these guys cleared off the Dreadnought, which then allowed the Wave Serpent to finish off Valoris. So that's Valoris and the Dreadnought cleared out. Over here, the Shining Spears and the jet bikes finished off the Vexilla with their shooting. This Wave Serpent put a wound on the Assassin, and the other one finished off the Assassin with the overcharged Serpent Shield stratagem. Dark Reapers didn't fare so well, didn't actually manage to do anything to his captain despite him being doomed, and he then heroically intervened into combat with the Wave Serpent, which didn't blow up, which was a bit disappointing, really hoping for a nice big bang there to kill some of these. But you know, with all the smite and other mortal wound shenanigans from the Serpent Shields, I've done pretty good at clearing characters here, but I fear this guy could still start causing me problems. But yeah, here we points wise, I think it's at the end of the battle round I score points this time for having characters that are still holding intel. So if these guys survive, I will have some points at hand, but this guy is still worrying me. Here we go, Custodes turn 3. So just when you think you got the Custodes on the back foot, they come back and hit you hard. So as I feared, his Warlord, he's not actually the Warlord, but the guy on the jet bike came down here to get the Farseer, but in the meantime he shot up the Dark Reapers before charging the Farseer, and as you can see, Reapers are gone, Farseer's dead, that's Warlord and my best character gone. Over here, these guys cut down the jet bikes with the shooting and then killed off the Shining Spears in combat. And these guys over here attempted to charge on this Wave Serpent, but actually ended up losing the last wound of one of these guys on the way in and failed the charge, which was a little bit unfortunate on their part. But yeah, the loss of the Farseer is going to really be telling here. So at the moment, we both got Warlord, we both got First Strike, we both got a point this turn for each having 1 character with intel left alive, but he's leading it from that point he scored a couple of turns ago, having Valoris sitting on the objective there. So 1 point ahead as we go into the 4th turn. Well, that was a very quick turn, and I achieved very little, if anything. So, moved my Spirit Seer just within 18 inches of this guy so he can get smite off. Pushed up these guys and tried to bring my tanks into range. But, yeah, really not a lot happened. This guy's got 7 wounds. I did 2 with the Warlock's, the Spirit Seer's smite, and 1 from the fire of that tank. Everything else was stopped or saved. Or in the case of this Wave Serpent, wasn't actually near enough to fire at him, so I had to go for them instead. So slightly bad move there, but to be honest it wouldn't have made a difference. So he's still on 4 wounds, and I can't see a way that this doesn't end very badly for me. Custodes' 4th turn, and it's end game now. The Custodes that were still alive moved up to threaten the Wave Serpents, did a little bit of damage, but to be honest it didn't matter, because his shield captain on Dawn Eagle Jetbike was able to get off the charge into my Spirit Seer, and I mean this guy's got 6 attacks, wounding on 2s, re-rolling failed rolls to wound. I don't care how many rune armor saves I have, it's not going to be enough. He's killed my Spirit Seer, and that's game, because start of the next turn he goes up to 5 points. I'm still sitting on 3 with no way to score points apart from Line Breaker, which is only ever going to be worth 1. So there's nothing I can do. So that is game. Good game, mate. Thanks a lot. Alright then, so a victory for the Custodes. So well done to Ben. You know, he played really well. It was a good fun game, so thanks for that. And yeah, congrats on the victory. Looking back over that, obviously it's yeah, I'm really starting to see a pattern with my Eldar army at the moment that you know, we may have the firepower to do a lot of damage, but we're not, you know, playing the mission well at the moment. And it's not so much just a case that I'm not playing the mission, although there are times when you know, that is kind of the case. I'm focusing more on damage output, but I'm doing that because that's all I've got, because my list doesn't work well for a lot of the missions. You know, it was very clear here that with characters being the way to score, you needed survivable, mobile, dangerous characters, and all my characters in that list are basically support. Now this isn't me saying, oh, it was just bad luck because, you know, the mission favoured his list. No, it was bad list design, basically. Long term, can't fix it now because, you know, I've got the models I have in the collection and I've only got 1 more game to play in this tournament or this league. But yeah, I need to really start thinking about list building with a view to the missions, you know, not just list building in the case of this is strong, this buffs this, these 2 units go well together, but actually having the units to win the missions. Now I started this a little bit by incorporating a few more Dire Avengers in, with objective grabbing being important, but obviously this particular mission, characters are the key. So yeah, going forward I'm going to have to look at my list design. Now with Eldar that might be tricky because most of our good characters are really designed as support characters, although you know, Phoenix Lords might be interesting to try. But you know, I've said sort of after this league I'm putting the Eldar away for a while, so certainly looking at other armies, and yeah, just the ability to control the board and score the objectives is really important at list design these days in the current meta. I'm just thinking back to you know, the early days of 8th edition when the game barely went past turn 3. It was all about kill, 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 kill. You know, just having the most firepower, blow your opponent off the board and then worry about objectives later. It really now is just a kind of almost gone 180, where you need to be playing the mission from the word go, and you know, even before the word go, you know, when you're designing your army. I think my bold strategy on turn 1 of flying the Shining Spears across probably was the right decision. I was a bit unsure whether I should hang them back or push them up, but I think it did kind of give me some space in pushing his army back, keeping them back from the centre line for a little bit longer. Although I should have pre-measured my Warlock's psychic power range and tried to debuff his unit rather than buff my unit's defence. I think that would have had a bigger impact in the long run, but you know, you live and learn. And yeah, that Culexus Assassin, it is the first time I've come up against one in this edition, and we played that before the new Assassin rules in White Dwarf. But yeah, from what I've read, he's going to be just as good, if not better, with the updated rules, and yeah, a really solid choice. And I think with the ability that assassins are going to have now to you know, just pay a command point to just pick one rather than having to put it on your list, it's going to be really good for like perfectly legal, totally justified list tailoring. Because, you know, your assassin can you know, you come up against Eldar, cool, I'll have a Colexus assassin. Not playing against any Psychers, well, have a Vindica or an Eversaw. You know, you can do what you want. So that's definitely going to be a good thing. But yeah, certainly an interesting game. And I mean, clearly at this point in the league, I'm just playing it out for fun. You know, I've got one more game coming up, which I'm, based on my previous performance, not expected to win. I think you know, I'm clearly been outplayed, but I've learnt a lot, you know, and that's the great thing about this league, going up against different opponents. Although I haven't won many games, I've had a good time, and I feel like it's helping me to improve as a player by seeing what else is out there and what other better players do. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this vid, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.